Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best SSD.
Starting at number 5.
Kingston Fury Renegade. Sometimes, it's nice to have options, and most PC gamers aren't just tied to their PC anymore. So that makes the Kingston Fury Renegade a very appealing option for those who might be looking for something for either their PC or PS5. This PCIe 4.0 SSD features blazing fast load times whether it's an open-world PS5 game like God of War, Ragnarok, or you're looking to have Windows 11 be ready to go almost as soon as you touch the power button. On PC, you can expect the Kingston Fury Renegade SSD to get sequential read speeds of up to 7,300 megabytes per second and sequential write speeds of about 7,000 megabytes per second, with lower write speeds generally for smaller capacities. Where the Renegade really shines though is its PS5 performance, with Sony's official SSD benchmark tool recording a 6,500 megabytes per second read speed, the fastest we've seen in a PS5 system. What's more, the Fury Renegade can come housed in a phenomenal, rugged heatsink to help the SSD hardware safe, or without a heatsink if your motherboard already has a heat management solution for your SSDs. If you're looking to buy one for your PS5 though, definitely go for the heatsink since the PS5 doesn't have a built-in way to really manage an SSD's heat and the drive can get damaged as a result if you push it too hard.
Coming at number 4.
Corsair MP600 Pro. The Corsair MP600 Pro LPX made waves in the SSD market when it launched with competitive pricing and unparalleled speeds, and that remains the case today. Its PCIe 4.0 x 4M.2 SSD credentials deliver lightning-fast speeds, outshining cheaper, slower PCIe 3.0 alternatives, and keeping up with the very best SSDs on the market. Some PCIe Gen 4 drives might appear similar in value but fall short in maximizing the bandwidth that the MP600 Pro LPX exploits. Our tests on the 2 TB capacity drive revealed remarkable speeds, sequential read and write speeds of 7,364 megabytes per second and 6,870 megabytes per second, respectively. This outpaces both the WD_Black SN850 and Samsung 980 Pro SSDs, even surpassing Corsair's own advertised rates. Its random read/write operations aren't the best among PCIe 4.0 SSDs, so this SSD is best suited for loading very large files like video games, large media files, or as a boot drive. Corsair offers various cooling options for this drive, with the MP600 Pro LPX tailored with a low-profile heatsink fit for the PS5.
At number 3.
Samsung 990 EVO. The Samsung 990 EVO isn't the kind of PCIe 5.0 SSD many of us have been waiting for all these many years, especially considering that its actual performance would be fairly middle of the road were the 990 EVO a PCIe 4.0 drive like the 990 Pro. But despite being restrained to just 2 PCIe 5.0 lanes, or 4 PCIe 4.0 lanes, the 990 EVO does manage to put up some pretty good numbers for sequential read and writes, and the claimed 5,000 megabytes per second sequential read and 4,200 megabytes per second sequential write data rates is more or less borne out in our testing, with the 990 EVO hitting a 5,082.24 megabytes per second sequential read speed in Crystal Disk Mark 8, along with a 3,750.68 megabytes per second sequential write speed. And while the latter is about 450 megabytes per second less than the promised max speed on average, depending on your system, it shouldn't be hard to hit those kinds of numbers, and the kind of workload does matter, as evidenced by the Patriot Viper VP4300 only hitting half the sequential read rate of the Samsung 990 EVO in Passmark's disk test, but Crystal Disk Mark 8 has the Viper VP4300 way ahead of the 990 EVO. Essentially, your mileage may vary based on what kind of data you're reading or writing to the drive, but you should see the 990 EVO hitting or nearly hitting its advertised speeds pretty regularly. The biggest draw for this SSD though would be its improved power efficiency over its predecessor, the Samsung 970 EVO. The 990 EVO uses about 8% less power when reading and about 22% less when writing sequentially, which should help improve your laptop's battery life somewhat while not entirely throwing in the towel on performance.
Number 2 of my list.
Piney XLR8CS3140. The PNY XLR8CS3140 SSD is one of the best M.2 SSDs around, both for gamers and PC enthusiasts alike. Available in 3 capacities, 1 TB, 2 TB, and 4 TB. This SSD is a great swan song for the PCIe 4.0 era as PCIe 5.0 SSDs start to roll out. While PCIe 4.0 SSDs have a theoretical maximum speed of 8,000 MB per second, the PNY XLR8CS3140 pushes right up to that line with a rated sequential read speed of 7,500 MB per second, along with a 6,850 MB per second sequential write rating for its 2 TB and 4 TB capacities, 5,650 MB per second for 1 TB. Our tests reflect this for the most part, recording a sequential read speed of 7,256 MB per second in Crystal Disk Mark 8, with a somewhat lower than expected sequential write speed of 6,082 MB per second in the same test. Interestingly though, it had the highest random write performance of any drive we tested, 4,938 MB per second, including the vaunted Samsung Pro 990, which had a roughly 17% slower random write rate, 4,105 MB per second. It also had the best average data copy rate of all the drives we tested recently with 1,733 MB per second, so this is not only a great gaming SSD, it's a fantastic all-around performer at a great price. Fortunately, PNY offers an optional heatsink that can be added to the drive to help keep temperatures in check, which is a must for a drive this fast. It also has a PS5 specific heatsink you can buy, making it an ideal pick for gamers aiming for optimized thermal performance on Sony's latest console. So while there might be faster M.2 SSDs than the PNY XLR8CS3140, its price-to-performance ratio makes it the best high-performance SSD for gamers and enthusiasts who don't have the stacks to throw at Samsung or Corsair's best SSD offerings.
And number 1.
Samsung 990 Pro. Samsung's 990 Pro SSD garnered plenty of attention when it was announced, primarily due to its sticking with the existing PCIe 4.0 standard instead of the anticipated PCIe 5.0. However, its performance, nearly maxing out the PCIe 4.0's potential, silenced many of the naysayers. For gamers, it boasts unparalleled read speeds, while for creative professionals, its write speeds shine, especially during intensive tasks. A standout feature, the 990 Pro's sequential writes significantly outpace both its predecessor and competitors. Additionally, it showcases impressive read speeds, nearing PCIe 4.0's maximum of 8,000 MB per second. Its 7,449 MB per second recorded sequential read speed in our testing is right at Samsung's promised read speed, while its sequential write speed of 6,826 MB per second in our tests is not quite at the promised 6,900 MB per second, but it's damned close. Our tests also found that the 990 Pro surpassing the 980 Pro, transferring a 10 GB file about 9% quicker and copying a large folder roughly 32% faster. Such prowess translates to quicker game loads and swift app startups. This includes PS5 performance as well, where we were able to copy a 123 GB game roughly 84% faster using the Samsung 990 Pro compared to the console's storage drive.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.